And we welcome you live to O'Reilly Raceway Park, west of Indianapolis, as we're getting ready for race number 22 on the 2007 NASCAR Busch Series schedule. And we're here for qualifying, and we've got 7 drivers doing double duty, driving here tonight, as well as over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. There are the guys on the left. But there is some big news involving one of those drivers, Dave Blaney and Mike Bliss in the number 10 car. For that story, let's bring in Shannon Spake.
Well, Marty, on Monday, Mike Bliss was scheduled to drive the 22 car in this race tonight. Then on Tuesday, he was not driving that car. Then on Wednesday, Braun Racing called and asked if he would practice the number 10 car for Dave Blaney, who's over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, now he's racing the car. Mike Bliss, who is sitting in his car getting ready to go out for qualifying, has this been a roller coaster week? I'm confused just telling the story.
The whole year has been. I've been in and out of cars, but yeah, the 22 put another driver in for this race. And Wednesday, Braun Racing called, and yeah, I told him, yeah, I'd practice Dave's car. And then the weather's just been really bad here, so it kind of hurt where Dave could get back over here. So I guess I'm going to drive the car tonight.
All right, well, good luck to you. And if there's anyone you want in a car, it is Mike Bliss. Between the trucks and the Busch, he has 12 starts here at ORP. Vince?
Well, speaking of ORP, this is one of those racetracks that has a personality all of its own. In fact, there are 3 drivers from the state of Indiana going to be in the field tonight, and several others that call Indy a second home, including this guy, Jason Leffler. What is it about O'Reilly Raceway Park that makes it feel like home for a lot of you guys?
Well, I think we all race here so much, and we tested here so much. I mean, to go on, to be successful in USAC, you had to win races here because we used to run here a lot. To be successful in racing, period, you had to run here because this was where ESPN and ESPN2 televised all the races. So I was real fortunate to drive a lot of good cars here, won a lot of races, and always enjoy coming here. It seems like when you got a hold of this place, you could go pretty much anywhere in a midget or a sprint car, a silver crown car, and run good. It's really one of the most difficult short tracks to get around because there's so many different transitions and everything, and a lot of little tricks to getting around here. But our Great Clips Toyota is really good, and looking forward to qualifying here, hopefully starting up front and try to beat everybody up here in 200 laps.
Yeah, he's got a good one here tonight, he believes, the 38 car. Great Clips, guys.
Vince, I want to know if you can do his hairstyle with yours. That looks pretty cool.
I don't think I've got enough hair.
I know I don't, buddy. All right, joining me up here in the booth as we're getting ready for the first car, all ready to go out onto the track, which would be Mike Harmon, is a 2-time winner here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, the man who's led more laps here in the Busch Series than anybody, and that is 2-time Busch Series champion is Randy LaJoie. Randy, glad to have you with us.
Thanks, Marty. This is neat.
All right, let's talk about this track and what makes this place so special. I mean, after all, as we mentioned, you've sat on pole here twice, the only guy who's been a 2-time pole sitter in 25 prior starts.
Well, you know what? This is a fun racetrack. This racetrack is so much fun. If you don't run the Brickyard, which I have in the IROC car, you have to run the ORP. But this is such a fun racetrack to drive. It gives you multiple choices as a driver, and it's just it's a neat racetrack.
A lot of history here, too, right?
Oh, history. I mean, you could get your name, you win a race here. A.J. Foyt won a race here.
That's right, back in 1961. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Carl Edwards, one of those guys doing double duty. He's got a little other problem, as you probably are aware of. This is the crash that he had last Sunday at I-80 Speedway over in Greenwood, Nebraska. Dislocated his thumb. It was quite painful, as you will see from the video. And, of course, the big question we have here is he's going to be making 200 laps here and a lot of left turns. He said he's worried more about shifting than he is turning. What do you think, Randy?
Well, I don't believe he's going to be shifting here a whole lot other than restarts. The best antidote for him would be a great race car. This way he can pass a lot of cars. He's going to be very busy. If his race car is good, he's going to forget about his thumb.
All right, so we go out trackside now, and you can see Mike Harmon is already on his warm-up lap. Best of 2 gets you into the field. We have 44 cars that are going to attempt to qualify for the 43-car field. And again, a very interesting race line here at O'Reilly Raceway Park.
Yes, it is. This is a racetrack that you could diamond the racetrack later in the run. But, you know, the groove is typically middle to the high side. And you get your car to work there, boy, you can have a fun night.
Comes up for the end of his first lap. 24.054 to give you an idea. He practiced better than that at 23.9, and that was only good for 42nd on the charts.
Yes, I mean, Mike has a part-time competitor this year on the Busch Series, so his program might not be as good as it needs to be.
So here he comes out of four. Ooh, you can see the hands. He's working them.
That's right. You can almost notice that you can watch the front balance of his race car. You're going to watch some of these guys, their balances, the front part of these cars are going to be against the ground all the way through the corners.
So 23.8 his second lap, and that is obviously much better than his first. Where it will shake out, I doubt it will be good enough for the pole, because in our practice, well, the quickest was Eric Darnell at 22.5 seconds. There's some of the crowd that's come out early. By the close of business tonight, the grandstands will be full. The NASCAR Busch Series qualifying at O'Reilly Raceway Park, brought to you by AT&T, the new leader in wireless, and by Accelerate. Don't fade, accelerate. And let's quickly check in once again with Shannon Spake.
Been a busy 24 hours for this man, Travis Kvapil. He raced in last night's truck race here at ORP. Finished third, but today you're qualifying Carl Edwards' car because he's over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's going to go to the back of the pack when he does get in the car. So what are you looking for today in qualifying?
I don't know. I mean, we didn't really do any qualifying runs in practice at all, and just really worked on race trim for Carl. I think we got it going pretty good for him like we did in Milwaukee, and I think, we just need 2 solid laps. Pit selections already picked, and we know Carl's got to start in the back. So we just need 2 solid laps and feel it out, see if I can give him any more feedback and let Carl have it tonight.
All right, last time Travis Kvapil was in this car for Carl, Carl did qualify 9th, so pretty good shot at it tonight.
All right, thank you, Shannon. As we take a look right now, there is Mike Potter. We always talk about the young guns in NASCAR Busch Series racing. Here's a 58-year-old from Johnson City, Tennessee, and 23.9 seconds right now puts him the slowest of the 3 cars that have taken times. During our commercial break, DJ Kennington went to the top of the 3 at 23.4.
And DJ is a regular on the NASCAR circuit that NASCAR just took over. So DJ is testing the waters down here in the US of A.
All right, now out on the track, you see Danny O'Quinn, some of his career stats at ORP. Had 1 race here, but it'll be this year. As you take a look at the lap tracker, and if he's in the green, that means he's ahead of the pace, which he is right now.
That's right. Danny O'Quinn, I mean, he ran for Roush last year and won Rookie of the Year, I do believe. And then this year, they had no room for him.
He was 2006 Rookie of the Year. Coming through turn 4. Doing much better down the straightaway. Here he comes towards the stripe in his first lap, 23.1 seconds. That's 0.3 of a second quicker than DJ Kennington. Now what can he do on lap 2?
Well, I think he'll pick up a couple tenths. We'll see. But, your first lap is pretty slick around here. You're pretty busy. But the second lap, you got a lot more grip.
Still ahead of the pace. Coming out. Whoa, that'll cost him. And you saw the lap tracker take a dip, but it's still good enough and quicker at 23.081 seconds. So there is your current pole sitter right now of the 4 cars that have taken times here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. So Danny O'Quinn, even though the little power slide coming out of 4 cost him a little bit, he's safely in.
Right, that power slide doesn't hurt a whole lot. I think I seen Jeff Gordon sit on a pole at the Brickyard in a big power slide like that.
You are right on that. As we get ready now for Mark Green. Obviously, Mark substituting for David Ruderman, who's over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Boy, look at that front balance. It's glued.
This is true. I watched this car in practice, and this car was running very well. Did 1 practice on the high side and did a practice on the low side. Obviously, David's going to have to start in the back, and Mark got that car working well on the bottom for him.
Boy, a little bit of a bobble coming through 2, as you can see. Now down the straightaway into 3. He's actually doing better on the corners than he is in the straightaway.
That he is.
Whoa!
He's digging. Yeah, you're busy here. This is fun.
See, and this is what I'm worried about Carl. When Edwards gets in here and starts hacksawing that wheel.
But then again, I mean, if his car is fast and he's passing cars, he's not going to think about the discomfort in his thumb.
22.9 on the first lap for the 48-year-old from Owensboro. And again, he's hacksawing that wheel.
There's a little dip in turn 4 here, and that does upset the cars.
You heard the team tell him 22.7 seconds at 108 and change. So there is your new pole sitter. Let's get an update on Brad Keselowski. Shannon Spake, what's going on?
Well, Dale Jr. said earlier this week that he's hoping to get Brad nailed down on paper at some point. Have you had any conversations with Junior about the future in this 88 car?
Yeah, we've certainly talked, and right now the best way to talk is just about what you do on the racetrack and running as good as you can for the Navy and Chevrolet, and that's what I plan to do.
Well, you've had 2 starts in this 88 car so far. You have 1 truck start here at ORP. That give you a little bit of confidence going into this race?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest confidence builder is we were 5th in the last sheet there, so I think we've got a strong car and a good team behind me, and it's just up to me to get it done here in qualifying.
All right, Brad Keselowski looking to get it done here at qualifying.
Well, another car that's looking to get it done, Greg Biffle, and he did make it over from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so he is going to qualify the car himself, and there's good reason for this. In 4 years of racing Busch Series here, he's never finished lower than 5th, and he's also won this race before.
You know, it's going to take him, his first lap he threw away, because obviously from a 2-mile speedway running 200 miles an hour to a 5/8 mile, well, he missed his mark there again. So if he makes his driver's meeting, he's sliding, baby.
He was hanging it out. 23.2 on the first lap, 22.8 on the second. That'll move him into the provisional number 2 spot. I'm sure he's not thrilled with it, but I'm amazed because, remember, folks, he had absolutely no practice. That's the first time he climbed in the car, and you're hanging it out.
Yeah, I came from Dover, Delaware once, a 1-mile speedway, to New London, Connecticut, little short track, and the biggest difference was I almost forgot to lift.
The worst part for Biffle now, he's got to get out, get back over to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. His number over there, he's 37th in the qualifying order. Jason Keller, a guy who has won at this track before. Twice, in fact. Yeah.
I think he's 5 starts away from all-time leading starts in the series.
Part of the Bruco Motorsports operation. Jason, not faster than our current pole sitter, Mark Green.
Which his second lap should be quicker. He's getting in there. It's going, I mean, you got to give it up to these Bruco guys. This is they don't have no ties to any Cup teams, and this is probably the premier Busch team on the circuit.
His first lap at 22.8, that would put him 3rd right now. You can see he's not going to have the pole.
He lost it in the middle of the corner. It must have slid the front tires a little too much.
So he's currently going to be in the 3rd position. His best lap at 22.854 seconds. And while he coasts on out, let's bring Shannon Spake back in.
All right, Stephen Wallace's first career pole was at a short track earlier this year, Bristol. Obviously different banking. What have you got for us today, Stephen?
You know, the Home Life Communities Dodge is this probably isn't one of our better days. You know, we've worked real hard on you know, trying to get our car to like run really, really good in race trim, and just been struggling on, you know, all day. But you know, we're gonna stay optimistic and hope for a good run. But right now, I think I might be able to run around the racetrack myself faster as far as running. So we'll work on as hard as we can and try and get a good run out of tonight.
All right, Marty. Well, we've seen this team find speed before in qualifying, so we'll have to watch that number 66 when it goes out there.
Yeah, he did brush the wall slightly in the last practice session. I still think his car will go faster than he can run. I've seen him run. All right, let's take a look at Mike Bliss right now, the 42-year-old from Oregon. Not going to be in the pole position right now. In fact, his first lap at 22.9 seconds puts him in the number 4 spot.
Well, he might want Blaney to come back if the car doesn't get a little more grip.
We're seeing a lot of guys slipping and sliding through these corners, but this is the hottest it's been. We've had cloud cover through both practice sessions.
Yes, we have, and that's something that these guys could probably adjust to tire pressures here pretty soon. When you guys watch this, they say, well, we're going to have to take some air pressure out of these things.
So there you see Mike Bliss at 22.9, puts him currently in the number 4 spot. Let's catch up right now with our current pole sitter. He's with Vince Welch.
That's right, Mark Green, the quickest of the qualifiers so far in the 99 car, normally driven by David Rudiman. You're talking about a substitute driver. Even the substitute driver's suit wearing the David Rudiman driver's suit. I mean, that really is filling in.
That's yeah. I got my own helmet, but I got David's suit, and actually, to make a long story short, David's got my suit over at the Brickyard, so I had to take one of his. So hopefully he won't care about that.
Track's changed quite a bit since practice with this sun coming out.
Yeah, we ran a 74 earlier today, and it's like 25 degrees hotter now. So to back that up, I think is really good. The Aaron's Dream Machine is very good. Just so excited to drive a Toyota. These things are awesome, and when Dave gets over here, he's going to have a good time with it tonight.
Yeah, the 99 on top right now, but remember, because David Ruderman will get in the car for the race, it'll go to the back of the field.
Yeah, but he could still, if he holds on to the pole, it would be his first pole ever in 224 Busch Series races. So who knows? Stranger things have happened. The temperature, as he mentioned, hotter. And you can see that we've got guys slip sliding through every corner. Travis Kvapil out there right now, 22.797. That puts him in the number 2 spot. So far, Mark Green's time holding up.
That car was very good this morning in practice. So when you have a good car in practice, 9 times out of 10, you could bust off a darn good lap in qualifying.
So as he coasts on out, let's bring in the 08, the gunbroker.com with Jason White at the wheel, the Dodge with 7 years of experience, making his first Busch Series race since finishing 41st at Gateway last July.
As you can see, that you watch the front balance on this car coming off the corner. See how high it is. You know, they got a lot of work to get that thing down. That looks like the car I won with 96 and 97 being that high.
When you can see that much air underneath, that's not a good sign.
Not really. You know, as a driver, you don't know how high it is, but you know if it was on the ground, you'd be going faster.
We talked so much about the aerodynamics, and you can see, I mean, right now, Jason, his first lap at 23.8 seconds. That's 9th out of 10 so far.
He didn't get a lot of practice this morning. First practice, they sat around with the hood up for quite a while.
See if he can do any better on the second lap. Remember, one car is going home, so as of right now, Jason, 23.86, a few hundredths better. He'll stay 9th out of the 10 that have so far taken times. And we were mentioning the fact that Greg Biffle made it over here. Before he sneaks back over to the Speedway, let's get a word with him, Vince.
He is one of those pulling double duty, and at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and then here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. But I got to tell you, the car was a bit of an adventure during this qualifying run, wasn't it? What was wrong?
Just really, really loose. First time I've driven this car, you know, on this track, too, from about a year ago. So, you know, I don't know if it's the heat. They said it's about 25 degrees hotter than it's been. You know, it's the hottest part of the day. And going out early hurts you, especially here. So it's unfortunate for us. But the 3M car, I think we're going to get it going good in the race. And, you know, it might be near the back anyway, come over here all this effort to qualify. But fun to come over and make a couple laps anyway.
Well, and if it does come from the back, it will be an exciting show for those watching at home. That's for sure. And Greg Biffle always seems to go to the front here.
Well, it looked like while you were finishing up, the 88 and Brad Keselowski came awfully close to that wall.
Yeah, well, we're going to see guys. We might see a couple of guys kiss that wall here during qualifying.
He is just a little bit into the red section on our lap tracker. Now it's diving even worse through 4. Big power slide. So Brad, go ahead.
That's a lot of fun to do, but it's really not the fastest way around.
His fast lap 22.8. He's currently 5th with all that slip sliding going on. Trackside. Let's bring in Shannon.
Well, last week, Landon Castle made his Hendrick Motorsports debut at Gateway. This week, he's getting in this car and doing it again. Little less pressure now that your first Busch Series race is over for the year.
Yeah, the National Guard Chevrolet was really good last week. We had a lot of fun working with the team and learning how to run a Busch race. So I'm just excited to go back after it and back up a good run from last week. The National Guard Chevrolet is pretty good today. Chad Walter, crew chief, great on top of the pit box. I'm just really excited.
All right, an excited young man. He qualified 6th last week, so interested to see what he can do this week. Marty.
He had a good run going until, you know, things went sort of south, but that happens when you're a rookie. I mean, looking at him, you'd swear he's not old enough to even be out here or shave, let alone anything else. I'm just jealous, you know. I remember those years, I think, somewhere.
I think we got more hair coming out of our nose and ears than he does on his face.
Okay, that's TMI. Let's talk a little bit about Robert Richardson, the 25-year-old from McKinney, Texas. As lap tracker shows you, he's not doing too good as far as trying to take over the pole.
No, not at all. Guys are losing a little bit going through the center, but he's lost a lot.
Now remember, one car is going home right now, and if he doesn't improve, he will be number 12 out of 12. He's heading for the stripe. Numbers come up, and he does do better. He moves up to the number 9 position. So, as you can see, 23.8 seconds. So he's going to breathe a little bit easier.
We all could with that Border Patrol.
So as he brings it on back towards pit lane, you heard from Stephen Wallace talking about how slow the car was in practice. We'll find out if they've managed to discover anything for qualifying.
And the last lap of practice, he happened to drive it into the fence.
Takes the green flag, the 19-year-old. That's where he kissed the wall going into one.
It's not bad at all.
Down into 3. Doing pretty good so far.
Looks to me like the car don't want to turn for him. He's having a little trouble getting into the center.
Vince, you've got more?
Well, guys, when the sun comes out, the track is really getting slippery, and we've had driver after driver complain over the radio about no grip, no grip. Thought maybe with this cloud cover coming back, because it has just set the sun back behind the clouds, that might make the car a little more manageable for Stephen Wallace, but maybe not. Currently 7th, but driver after driver complaining about a lack of grip out here, especially compared to this afternoon's practice.
And you see the time and speed, 22.9, 107 and change. Puts him in the number 7 spot right now, and Dad's breathing a little bit easier because he didn't scrape the wall a second time.
I'm sure the crew is too, because those guys are working hard down there.
Time for Eric Almirola, the 23-year-old, is he'll bring the number 20 car out for his qualifying effort. Mark Green, still the pole sitter right now. 22.745 is the time you've got to beat. And we've got lap tracker at the bottom of the screen on Eric.
He's going to be a tough one. Here's a kid that won a race and never went to victory lane.
Yeah, that's a sad story that he doesn't like to talk about very much. Led 43 laps, got pulled by Denny Hamlin getting back. They said, hey, Milwaukee is home of Rockwell. We had to do it for the sponsors. Name of the game.
He's in the green. We got a little green showing.
Yeah, he's doing fine. Head of pace right now. His first lap was 22.7 seconds. Can he get it just a little bit quicker? He's in the number 2 spot. It looks like he's going to be there if he doesn't slip. Comes up, and yes, you have a new pole sitter. Fast lap of 22.4.
22.48. Good job, buddy.
109.8 miles an hour. Mark Green says, whoa, that's pretty stout. That's 3/10 quicker.
And David Ruderman's still going to be driving in the back. He's starting in the back.
And the number 20 car, for them right now, they've had 5 poles in that car this season. We'll find out if it stays there as Bobby Hamilton Jr. comes out with a different bit of a paint job. We're used to seeing him in the McDonald's colors. Team Renzi. Lap tracker, you can see Bobby.
He's trying to run a low line.
Yeah, I was sort of amazed at that. He was down a lot lower than everybody else so far, and still is.
Well, I mean, look at the red stripe now. He is lower than a lot of guys.
As he comes across the line, Bobby 10th quickest at 23.1 seconds. But you're definitely right, Randy. He is definitely running a lower line than everybody else so far.
That's not going to hurt him in the race, but obviously he's not carrying the momentum through the center of the corner.
Man who's 7th currently in Busch Series point standings. 29-year-old takes the checkered flag, and his fast lap 23.015. That'll put him in the number 9 spot at 107 and change. So right now it's Eric Almirola on pole. Will he stay there? Come on back and find out. Back here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, you're looking at Brett Rowe and his qualifying attempt. His first lap at 23.9 is only good enough for 16th out of 17 cars that have taken times. We can also tell you as he finishes up, Frank Cryer, while we were in break, put his car provisionally in the number 12 position.
One of these things that a lot of these teams don't realize is the better Busch Series teams, whether it's the Gibbs, the Childerses, they go to Pratt & Whitney, they go to Goodyear, and they give you specific tire pressures, what the best tire pressures to run for this tire. And there's a lot of these teams that don't get that kind of information.
And you saw on the screen, Brett has moved up to the number 13 position with that second lap. Let's check in once again with Vince Welch.
Eric Amarola was second quick in practice and so far the fastest in qualifying, and it's been a big week for him. Got a DEI Cup deal to go along with the Joe Gibbs responsibilities here on the Busch side. How has the track changed from practice to qualifying? We've heard a lot about that today.
Yeah, it's quite a bit slicker. It was really cloudy this morning, and the sun came out there and baked on the racetrack for a while. And it was definitely a lot slicker, and you know, we didn't have as much traction as we were hoping for, but cars were real good, and I'm excited about tonight. We made a lot of long runs in practice there, and these guys on this Rockwell Automation team, they worked really, really hard to get our Chevy Monte Carlo running good, so I'm excited about tonight.
Hey, before we let you go, give us a little explanation on the decal that we're going to see here. For guys, if we can show that, the Get Well shakes.
Yeah, a buddy of mine shakes. He's a tire guy on the 90 Busch car, and he got in a motorcycle accident, and he's not doing real good, and I just want him to know that we're thinking about him, and we're praying for him, and we hope he gets better real soon because we need him back.
Yeah, those sentiments all the way down the pit lane here. Shannon?
All right, well, Stephen Light still holds the track record here in ASA. You had a little problem during first practice. You brushed the wall. The team worked on it. How's the car now?
We got a few laps in at the end of the second practice. The guys did a great job. Our safety financial forward's pretty good. Pretty close to where we were in the first practice, and we were fifth in the first practice, and we only made 6 laps. So don't know what it's got for qualifying. We never made a qualifying run, but I'm familiar with this track, and I have fun here, so hopefully we'll be good.
All right, back up to Marty.
All right, thanks, Shannon. You saw Landon Castle's run. That was good for 8th. Right now we got Kyle Krizaloff and his hometown just north of Indianapolis in Carmel as he is on his qualifying attempt.
And we could talk about Landon just a tick. They interviewed him earlier, and then here's a 18-year-old kid that did a wonderful job last week at St. Louis in a wonderful race team. And, he probably just held back just a little bit too much during qualifying.
Well, Kyle is already better than he was in practice. He was 40th in practice at a 23.8. He's already gone 23.4 seconds in his first lap. And here he comes out of turn 4, takes the flag, and brings it across with a 23.1, puts him up into the number 12 spot. So with the increase in heat, he actually stepped it up quite a bit.
Well, I think, is that his grandmom that was here?
Yeah. Mary Holman George is his grandmother, and yes, she'll be the one giving the command to start engines over at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, I think he just wanted to impress her and say, okay, Grams, this is what I do.
And she is here watching. She's been here since like 9 this morning and isn't leaving until the race is over later tonight. So Deke McCaskill now. This was a late add to this number 9 car for Ray Evernham.
Local town in Raleigh, North Carolina, Southern National Speedway champion, and he did a great job this morning in practice. I was watching.
Whoa, this is trouble. Keep it off.
He's not
the
hitting
wall.
nothing.
No, ruined a set of good years, but that's okay.
Is that team in the top 30 in points? I wonder. Yes.
6 different driver in this car.
He's going to need some help because he got some flats. He's mentally beating himself up right now. But he didn't hit nothing, so that's okay.
No, he didn't bend the car up at all.
You hit anything, bud? Just blew the tires out.
He come down, he pinched it off a little too hard. See, the black stripes started. He didn't give himself enough room right there. So once he started to lose the ass end, he just didn't have enough. Well, I guess you could say he run out of talent.
Well, they do have enough points. That's not going to be a problem at all for him.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's good for that team. Then, like you heard the crew chief say, did he hit anything?
Take one more replay. As you mentioned, he won the 2006 Southern National Late Model Championship. In 20 races, he had 19 top 10s, 6 wins. And there are a lot of people that say he's got the stuff, just a little too aggressive this time. But he's going to get 200 laps to figure it out.
Absolutely.
All right, so while he pulls into pit lane, and you can see he's got like about 4 flats all the way around on that poor thing. Don't worry, we can fix the good years. You can't fix all that sheet metal very quickly. Let's talk about one race to go in case you missed it at St. Louis. It was a dandy.
Now waves again. Oh, we got a little trouble here. Oh, Bliss, big hit.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
The guys here getting together.
Can't shave any closer than that one.
21-year-old Reed soars and becomes the 13th driver to win in 2007. Awesome. It's been a long time, boys. Long time.
For nearly a century, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has been the worldwide mecca of auto racing. This Sunday, ESPN will be live from the historic Brickyard to kick off its return to NASCAR Nextel Cup racing. Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, and all the Nextel Cup stars will battle for immortality as they race toward the chase for the championship. Coverage begins Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN.
And it's been a long time. We've been waiting for it. We're looking forward to it. Hope you are too, as we'll be there tomorrow. Right now, you take a look at Eric Darnell sitting in for David Reagan, another one of our double duty drivers. While we were in break, we can tell you that Kevin Hamlin put his car in the number 11 spot, but they had to change an engine, so that means he's going to have to go to the back as well. We're going to have a lot of good guys coming from the back to the front in this race tonight.
It's going to be interesting. Hopefully we won't have a lot of cautions, and we'll see a lot of passing.
You see Mike Kelly telling him how things are looking so far.
You know, that's one thing. I'm not a big guy. That always bothered me when guys talk to me, especially going through the corners.
Well, here you're in the corners an awful lot, so you didn't want anybody talking to you at all.
Not at all.
What about the spotter? You didn't want him talking to you?
No.
All right, take a look. Eric puts it in the number 2 spot.
57, bud. P2. Good job.
22.57 seconds at 109 and change. Vince?
Well, you know, guys, across the street, as we say across the street at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's a little further down the road than that, but the 24 car for Rick Hendrick's going to draw a lot of attention over at the Brickyard this weekend. Well, the 24 here at ORP drawing some attention too. Landon Castle, 18 years old, running the Busch car for Hendrick Motorsports. What's it feel like to be 18 and get an opportunity with Hendrick?
It's just an amazing opportunity to run with Hendrick Motorsports and the National Guard Chevrolet. It's just a lot of fun, and I'm going to make the best of it.
Your first race last weekend at Gateway, did you get those nervous butterflies out, or are you still feeling those here today?
Oh yeah, there's definitely nervous butterflies, but it's exciting before every race. So I just got to buckle down with the team. The National Guard team has been working really hard, and we're going to do our best tonight. I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the 24 tonight, Marty.
Man, you finished up. I'm watching Bobby East just bouncing into turn 1.
I talked to a couple of guys earlier, and one of the things that get these race cars to turn, they put a lot of rebound, which holds that left front down. And it makes it very choppy for the cars. And you can see Bobby is chopping away. He has a lot of laps around here. I think he won Thursday night.
Yes, he did in the Silver Crown race. Led every single lap in that effort. And right now, he moves into the number 8 spot at 22.9 seconds at 107 and change. So, Bobby East, his dad, of course, manufacturer of the Beast chassis, a great driver in his own day. We were talking about it earlier. We still haven't figured out how many total wins that family has at this racetrack.
I can't imagine it. I'm sure Mike Bliss is 14 wins. He was probably in a Beast chassis in quite a few of them.
Take a look now at Stephen Light, our winner back at Kentucky. He was one of the guys who scraped the wall. You can see the Band-Aid on the right front corner.
Absolutely, and he's staying away from it quite a bit too. So, you know, imagine that. Race car drivers, after you hit something, you don't want to go right back to it.
Well, so far, the lap tracker shows he's in the negative.
That's a very good lap that Eric put up there, that's for sure. So some of these guys, if they run there better than what they did in practice, they're still going to be slower than Eric.
Right now, his first lap, good enough for the number 7 spot at 22.8 seconds.
This is the first car I've heard that's been on the rev limiter down the straightaway.
So a gearing issue?
Well, I mean, he's getting through the corners good then. That's something that NASCAR has implemented a couple years ago, and it's something that when they don't want guys over-revving these motors, so they put these rev limiters on them.
Well, Steven goes into the number 4 spot, 22.79 seconds. So a good run for the man who tagged the wall a little bit earlier today. Stay with us. Still more qualifying from O'Reilly Raceway Park. Back here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, where you're watching Tim McCready. He's on his second lap. His first one, 23.1 seconds. Good enough for the number 18 spot right now of all the cars that have taken times. A total of 27 have made attempts so far.
And Timmy was last year's World of Outlaws late model champion. You put some dirt on this racetrack, you better look out. He'll wax them.
fast lap 22.8 puts him in the number 9 position. So Tim McCready safely in for tonight's.
She slipped a little the first time, and then I just didn't drive it in hard enough each corner. We need to get a little bit more each time. I'm going to get.
So you heard him talk about what he was getting out of the car and what he couldn't get. Let's talk a little bit about Cale Gale, a young man who's driving for Kevin Harvick in the 33 machine. Of course, Camping World had a good night last night as Ron Hornaday took the 33 truck to victory lane.
Absolutely, and Cale was the fastest thing in practice this morning.
Cale did look very strong in both practice sessions. Got a little tail happy there.
He's one of the 5 drivers that has been driving this car all year.
Well, that's the thing about the Busch Series. It gets so complicated sometimes for everybody, including us. The driver changes, let alone the paint scheme changes.
Absolutely. I just heard him hit the chip, and you know, he's below that white line, so he's not as good as he was. He lost a little bit of grip.
Yeah, 22.9 on the first lap. That's only good for the number 14 spot right now. And Stillman and the guys are saying, hey, smooth. Smooth equals fast.
Absolutely. Well, not really in qualifying here. You could be swatting flies in qualifying and still run a good lap.
Well, you see there he did pick it up. 22.9 flat, 107.8 miles an hour. Will move him into the number 10 position. So he's probably not going to be as happy with that as he was earlier today in practice, as they did fall back into the clutches of the field just a little bit more. But remember, it's a 200-lap race tonight. Now, this is another one of our replacement drivers, Curtis Davis. But Shannon Spake, you say that could change?
Well, that's right. Curtis Davis is currently qualifying that car for J.J. Yaley, who's over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The big question is, I asked Chuck Myers, the crew chief, will J.J. Yaley drive this car in the race? He looked at me and he said, if Curtis Davis puts this car in the top 10, then Curtis Davis will drive this car in the race.
A little incentive program.
Well, hopefully it won't be too much of incentive, and it'll hit something. But, you know, this is a teammate to Mike Wallace, and these cars haven't been as good as you would think they needed to be.
Well, his last race was back in June at Kentucky. Started 12th, finished 30th. It was not the kind of run that he wanted to have.
He started this year as a fill-in with the 77 car.
He's going to have to pick it up. He's 16th right now, 22.9. You can see Chuck Myers looking on.
I wonder if he checked with the car owner or anybody before he said that JJ might be sitting out.
Of course, JJ had some problems earlier over at the Speedway, crashing the primary car. Well, does he do it? Yes, sir. Curtis Davis right now is in the number 7 spot, 22.85 seconds. So he's going to have to hold his breath, but maybe, just maybe, he might be starting tonight's race at 8 o'clock. Stay with us. NASCAR Busch Series qualifying at O'Reilly Raceway Park, brought to you by Crown Royal Blended Canadian Whiskey. It's about quality, not quantity. And as you can see, action continuing here as qualifying. We've got a total of, let's see, about over 30 cars so far that have taken time. In fact, 31 have made attempts, including Deke McCaskill, who unfortunately spun it out, did not record a time. Let's check in once again with Shannon Spake.
Well, last time Scott Lagasse was in this car, he qualified 10th. What have you got for us today?
I think we're pretty good. We had a good car right off the truck and struggled a little bit second practice, but should be a good day. These guys have worked hard, and I'm excited. Just thank Wrigley's for letting me back in this thing, and have a good day.
All right, Scott Lagasse.
All right, thank you, Shannon. We can tell you while we were away that Kelly Byers managed to put his car, the number 47, into the number 3 starting position. Right now, we're taking a look at Brad Teague as one of the old venerable racers. 59-year-old is out on track.
I didn't think you could be that old to run the Busch Series.
There you can see his record. One time in the top 10.
That's Jimmy Means' car. And he knows there's one guy going home, and he's not going to stick that thing in the fence. He wants to make this race.
He's trying hard. Lap tracker not doing real well, though. It's way down into the red section.
He just...
Well, and you can see 23.8 puts him in the number 27 position. So Brad will just have to sort of wait and see how things fold. here at the track. Let's check in once again with the man who won here Thursday night, Vince.
That's right, Bobby East, 22 years old, won the Silver Crown race here on Thursday at ORP. Grew up just a stone's throw from here, like your own track. You've run a lot of laps here in the USAC circles, the sprints, the midgets, Silver Crowns, etc. Does it help you or hurt you because those cars are so different than the cars you drive here tonight?
Well, it's I'm hoping in the race it should help me out. But you know, it's kind of funny all year long with Brew Code Motorsports here. I've been trying to learn and learn about the Ford Fusion here, and I feel like tonight, although laps I have in open wheel cars around here, I have to unlearn a few things to pick up a little speed. But you know, I'm real proud of everybody working on this Cup Cadet Clean X car, and we backed up our lap what we did earlier today in practice. So it might put us somewhere in the top 15 hopefully, and keep the fenders on it again all night and be there at the end.
He's got a real feel for the wheel, guys. Keep an eye on the 37 tonight, Bobby East.
It is one of the guys we're going to keep our eye on. Right now we're watching Mike Wallace as the former winner here back in 1994 on his second lap, trying to prove he was 22nd on the first go. But now he moves up to the number 13 spot at 22.9 seconds at 107.8 miles an hour. So Mike Wallace safely in. What about the rest of the field? Well, stay with us. We'll be right back at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Back here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, as you know, the rain and all the weather delays have shaken up the schedules. Coming up next at the bottom of the hour will be All-State 400 qualifying at the Brickyard, and we'll switch off here. We've got 35 cars that have taken times. Obviously, we're not going to get to show you everybody, but we will come back with a report if anything astounding happens, and we'll update the top qualifiers. As right now, you get a look at last night's winner from the truck race, Ron Hornaday.
Absolutely, Ron and that Kevin Harvick team is just a fabulous job they're doing in the truck series. And when Ron comes over and runs his Busch car, he does a fine job.
Right now, though, not on pace for the pole, as you can tell by lap tracker.
I'm not sure Ron really likes the pole. He's the king of restarts, and him in traffic is fun to watch. When he gets in traffic, it's like trying to steal a bone from a hungry dog. You're not going to do it.
Yeah, bull in the china shop. As you get a chance to see Eric Almirola, who is our current pole sitter at 22.4 seconds. He's watching closely because he knows what Ron Hornaday is capable of. And Ron comes close. He makes a great effort at it. 22.5 seconds, good enough to move him into the third position. But Eric dodges another bullet. You're saying, wait a minute, what's the record here for qualifying? Well, it was set back in 1994 by David Green, 21.766. And right now we're at 22.4.
I think they might have just repaved this racetrack, and there was a lot of grip here.
Yeah, it was. You're exactly right. They had just repaved the surface, and it was like glue all the way around. Take a look now at Brandon Miller, another one of our replacements for our double-duty drivers. Scott Wimmer will be in this car tonight.
Which he had some this race team and Brandon were very fast in practice.
Brandon ran the truck race last night. It was his 7th Craftsman Truck Series start. He finished 23rd.
And Brandon did a lot of filling in. He's under contract with Childress. I'm not sure how much longer, but he did this last year also.
13th on his first lap. That's not too bad. I've got to tell you, remember we were talking about Curtis Davis? He's on the 10th spot right now, so he's got to hang on and hope that no one remaining goes quicker, or he may not get to drive that car. Whoa, that got close.
I wouldn't want to stick my finger in that one.
So Brandon comes across, stays 13th. His first lap at 22.8 seconds at 107.9 miles an hour. Will keep him in the field, and it keeps Curtis Davis in the seat right now, the number 1. That's sort of got me intrigued. I want to see if we can hang on for Curtis here.
He might. I'm looking at the 8 cars out of left, and it's going to be close for Curtis.
Scott Lagasse Jr., the next one out. And yes, you're saying, wait a minute, that looks like the car that won last week at St. Louis. Well, it's not the exact same chassis, but Reed Sorensen was behind the wheel of the 41 last week when it came across the stripe first.
And Reed finally got to taste Busch beer in Victory Lane. He turned 21.
Down into 3. And again, the sun has come out, especially through turns 2 and the backstretch and into turn 3. It's still a little shady over on this side. First lap for Scott puts him in the number 14 spot.
I think we're going to see the sun make a bigger difference over at the Brickyard than what we see here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And we're about 2 minutes away from sending you over to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for qualifying there. As we said, we'll update you from here when things wrap up. Coming across the stripe, Lagacy puts it into the number 10 spot. So that means Curtis Davis is now 11th, and he's going to have to do some serious lobbying.
Absolutely.
22.8 seconds, 108 and change. I think we ought to get a write-in campaign. Got to find their website.
Exactly right.
We'll get a
keep
website
Curtis,
going.
keep Curtis. Here's Jason. He's going to run very well.
Yeah, Jason's got a lot of laps at this track as well. A lot of laps.
You think he's a picture for great clips? Poster child?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the hairstyle with all the stickum, whatever. I don't even know what you put in there. I'm just glad to have hair.
Gear oil. That's what I've been told. I put in mine.
Okay. Jason, of course, had his 7th career pole back at Daytona. 3 races to go. Right now, he's not close to getting the pole. I mean, you can see lap tracker. He's below the mark, 11th.
Jason and his team have been carrying the Toyota banner well all year. Himself and Dave Blaney are teammates. And between them and Walter Brace and David Ruderman, one of these cars might win a race this year.
All right, so here he comes around for the 2nd lap. It looks like it's going to be better, but will it be enough? We'll see as Jason Leffler crosses the line. And it moves him into the number 5 spot. So that 22.7 seconds. Eric Almirola, there is Curtis Davis. Says there's the disappointment as he knows now he is 12th. And our current pole sitter, Eric Almirola. Will he stay there? Well, we'll come back. But right now, we're going to send you to the Allstate 400 to the Brickyard for qualifying. And Susie Colbert, it is all yours. Okay, thanks, Doc. Just a few cars remaining here. In fact, 3 to go with Marcus Ambrose currently on the track with his qualifying effort. Eric Almirola is still our pole sitter. And here you can see the 30-year-old on his effort as he gets his first lap complete. Good enough for the 28th spot. Not what he was looking for.
No, you watch that left front tire. Woo, he was working it. That left front tire is going left, right. The car is not where I'm sure Marcus thinks it would be.
Well, you were talking about how these guys would jack up the air pressures for qualifying.
Absolutely. These guys put a lot of air pressure in that right front to really bump the spring rate up to qualify, because what you have in practice is what you have to race. So everybody puts a race package under these things where they get comfortable, and then qualifying, I mean, it's pretty much a gamble.
So Marcus will start 24th, at least depending on what happens with the last 2 drivers. 22.9 his fastest time at 107 and change. What we have left is literally Josh Wise, our final car. And Josh, this was that part of that carousel that you heard Shannon Spake talk about earlier. Mike Bliss was originally listed in this car until earlier in the week when Josh was placed in it. Of course, Josh coming off a big midget championship. He won the week-long battle out in Kansas and was going to be going to Belleville for the Midget Nationals, but here he is tonight.
Well, I mean, Josh is a development driver for Michael Walton and has done a great job in his ARCA car and his truck. This is Michael Waltrip and Fitz last year with teammates, partners in a building, so I think this might be a little payback from last year.
Well, as soon as we find out what Josh does here in his qualifying effort, we're going to be sending it back over to Indianapolis, and then we'll come back here to talk to our pole sitter, which looks like it'll be Eric Almirola.
And obviously, this is not the same car that Mike Bliss run last week. That was very fast. He killed that car, and they put another car together for Josh, and he ended up.
So there you see it. Eric Almirola is now your pole sitter officially, his 2nd pole of the season. And with that, we'll send it back over to Indianapolis Motor Speedway and over to Dave Burns. And we'll be back to talk to him in just a bit. Thanks, Susie. Our final update here from O'Reilly Raceway Park. As you take a look at our top 10, 3 names I've got to point out. Eric Darnell, Mark Green, Travis Quample, because Randy LaJoy, they aren't going to be racing tonight.
Well, the regular drivers know they have good race cars. You know, Eric Almirola, Hornaday, Jason Leffler, they're not going to be waiting for him, I can tell you that.
Let's hear from our pole sitter, Eric Almirola. He's with Vince Welch.
Eric Almirola, the pole winner today here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, your third pole of the season. What's the trick about getting around this track fast here at ORP?
Having Dave Rogers as the crew chief and all these guys on this Rockwell Automation team, they got our Chevy Monte Carlo running really, really good. And I'm just excited about tonight. You know, we got a real good car. It was good in practice, and just happy to be here at IRP.
Top 3 qualifying effort in 5 of your last 6 races. What got you guys around the corner?
Well, it's just, you know, I got a lot of confidence right now, and you know, I've been getting more and more seat time, and the more I get in the car and the more often I get in the car, I feel like I'm adapting a lot better, and I'm becoming a little bit of a better race car driver. I'm learning a lot in a short period of time, so I'm really excited about tonight. I learned last year what not to do, so hopefully this year I can put a whole race together, and hopefully we'll end up in victory lane.
Eric Almirola starts from the pole tonight here at O'Reilly Raceway Park.
His reference was a 38th place finish last year because of a crash. Now, we'll see you at 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to send you to a commercial break, but when we come back, you'll be back over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll see you at 8.